amplify your energy and make manifestation much more easy. I'm giving you 5 facts that will help you understand the law of attraction. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a lot of misconceptions, mostly around resistance. So let's jump right in. First things first, my name is Nath Hughes. If you're new here, I'm Natalie Hughes. My nickname is Nath Hughes. I'm a life manifestation and mindset coach. I make digital courses, meditations, and coaching programs for self-led women who want to leave behind disappointment, stagnation, powerlessness, fear, shame, and guilt in favor of self-love, self-trust, self-confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. On my platform, my focus is to help you deliberately co-create an emotionally fulfilling life. If you are in my world, that means you're ready for rapid growth, healing, and empowerment. You're ready to feel supported, settled, safe, secure, and empowered in every aspect of life. I am so freaking excited. What I will say before we dive in is that timestamps will be in the description, and I am so sorry if you can hear the pool fucking machine outside of this window. I'm gonna put music, so I hope that helps, but I just had to put that out there, JIC, just in case. Okay, so fact number 1, God is on your side. And I feel like this one is kind of underrated, but it's super duper important. There are certain things in your manifestation process that powerfully help you and serve you with everything else. They're kind of like general beliefs that you build. It's almost like a foundation of beliefs that you build that just help everything. So one of those beliefs is that God is on your side, that the universe wants to give you your desire, that what you want wants you. You know what I'm saying? Other foundational beliefs are beliefs like money loves to come to me. Beliefs like the more that I relax, the more that I receive. Beliefs like, it's already mine. Fun stuff like that. Okay? So we've got these foundational beliefs that support us. And the one that we're going to focus on right now is that God is on your side. So you might call them the universe or source energy or the spaghetti monster in the sky, but I call them God. The name doesn't matter. The understanding does. Abraham Hicks, law of attraction teacher and coach, says that there is a stream flowing and you're on it or you're in it. You're in a boat in it. It doesn't matter. Your desires are downstream. Downstream means the direction that the stream is flowing, the direction that the river is flowing. This river is naturally flowing downstream. Your desires are downstream. You're naturally flowing towards your desires. You're naturally being guided towards your desires. It is when you're practicing resistant thoughts and beliefs that you are using oars in the metaphorical boat that you're on to push yourself against the flow of your desires. So we really want to understand that the universe is on my side, that God is on my side, that God is working with me, that source energy is working with me. When I approach my manifestation process from the understanding that God is on my side and that source energy is working with me, that takes a fuck ton of pressure off of me. Because I'm not the only one here showing up doing the work. I'm not the only one here that wants me to get my desires. I'm not fighting against my enemies. I'm not, fighting against that boss who doesn't like me, who doesn't want to give me the raise, the promotion. I'm not fighting against the other people in my industry that do the same work as me. I'm not fighting for a seat at a table that nobody, wants me to be at. I'm not fighting against anything. That is like an immediate level of resistance that it's just like evaporated. The universe is on my side. There's something greater than me that is pulling me towards my desire. And this, developing a relationship with the universe, we'll talk about it more probably in another video, But when you have that relationship with the universe, when you have that relationship with source energy, you are able to sit and relax and receive in a way that I don't think that you are able to otherwise. I can post my videos on the internet and I know that the universe, source energy, God is going to bring the right people to this video. Today, tomorrow, next week, next month, 5 months from now, 5 years from now, the right people who were born to learn from me, who were born to learn manifestation from me, who were born to step further into a position of empowerment in their own lives than ever before through me, through my teachings, through my programs, my video, my social media, my platform. Those people will be guided to this video. Not because I'm trying super fucking hard, not because I'm working myself into exhaustion, not because I'm doing all of these things that I don't want to do in order to check off boxes on somebody else's list of things you have to do in order to become successful on social media, but because God is on my side, because God wants growth and expansion for me, and because God wants growth and expansion for my people. And when I understand that, I'm able to relax more. I'm able to trust more. I'm able to be more open. Everything that you want is downstream. You're already flowing towards it. Before you became aware that it was something that you might want, you were already flowing towards it. When I was in college, or when I was getting ready to go to college, I ended up going to college in New York City, which I thought was so completely fucking random. But it's not that random, because one of my favorite Disney Channel movies is The Cheetah Girls, and the very first Cheetah Girls takes place in New York City. I didn't think about that when I was a kid, but apparently I kind of sort of did, because I have a book of like stories and shit that I wrote for a project in the 3rd grade. And in one of the stories, I'm talking about some girl, the Princess of New York. What? I did not remember that. I was not thinking about that when I had decided to go to New York for college. I kind of went to New York for college because it was on my mind, because I was a theater kid and Hamilton was really, really successful and popular at the time. And I just really fucking loved that. And I ended up going there in astrocartography. We're going to move on to the second fact very soon. I got like 14 minutes before I have to get on another call. And here I am talking about stories. Girl, this anecdote is not in my notes. But we're here and we're having a good time. And time is just going to slow down for us, okay? So in astrocartography, which is just your astrology, your natal chart, thrown on the fucking world map, okay? That's the best explanation I got, because that's where my understanding really starts and stops with it. But in astrocartography, my sun line in the United States goes right through New York fucking city. So I'm not saying that I was born to go to New York and live in New York for a time. But I'm saying that I was born to go to New York and live in New York for a time. You know what I mean? I went there and I discovered so many different things about myself. It's when I first started getting into tarot, when I first started posting on my very first YouTube channel. My life really started to take a lot of direction and form, and we're not going to get any further into it because we really do have to move on to the next fact. But what I will say is this: I became aware of the desire to go to college in New York when I was a senior in high school. But when I look at my life experience and all of the things that I went through, it's like I was being guided and moved and pushed in this direction. I was naturally moving in the direction of having that experience. I was always going to end up there. I was always going to go there. I was being guided there. And that gets to be your experience with everything. Your desire for a successful business, your desire to make more money, your desire to have the new car, your desire to have the new apartment. You were always going to be made to have that apartment, that car, that job, that income, that lifestyle before it even came into your awareness that that was something that you might want to experience. It was already yours. So when you're going towards your desires, when you're moving towards your desires, you're going in flow with the universe. You're not going against the grain, even if it looks like you're going against how your family's been doing things, how your culture's been doing things, how your, job has been doing things, or your industry has been doing things. You might be going against their grain, but you're moving in flow with the universe. You're moving in flow with source energy. You're moving in flow with the energy that creates worlds. That's a lot of power that's on your side. That's a lot of infinite intelligence that is working in your favor. So when we have this understanding, receiving what we want really does get to be easy. It's easier for us to receive because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not the only one who wants this. I'm not the only one who's fighting towards this, okay? All right, let's move on. So fact number 2, you want to be aware of your thoughts and your feelings because it's half of the work. It's half of the work. So in deliberate manifestation, you're tapping into the vibration of your desire, and then you're shifting all of the thoughts that say you can't have it, which is super easy. But the thing is that you can't shift thoughts that you aren't aware of. And most of your limiting beliefs are being told subconsciously. So it gets a little tricky there, right? The thing is that you've got to be willing to really feel like crap. You've got to be willing to admit the things that are feeling wrong and unsettled within you. I cannot tell you how many times I've worked with people personally and even just on social media, and they have strongly denied vibrations and thoughts that were very obviously alive within them. Your job is not to do that. You want to go out and seek what's alive within your subconscious. That's the easiest way to get really good results. Be willing to dive in. Your resistant thoughts are happening subconsciously. This means they're happening outside of your awareness. Your resistance is probably this subtle thing, this background noise that isn't being completely acknowledged. Even when your emotions are loud, your resistant thoughts can feel so quiet. Your job is to slow down and pay more attention to what's alive within you. An example of this is anxiety. When people feel anxious and their nervous systems are activated, they might experience an increase in their heart rate. They might feel uneasy. They might experience some nausea even. But recognizing that you are feeling uneasy, nauseous, and afraid for quote unquote some unknown reason, it's not the same thing as identifying a limiting belief. Sitting with yourself, doing the necessary introspection, and realizing that you're afraid to fail in the new position that you've been hired in, that's identifying a limiting belief. If you think you're likely to fail in the new position that you've been hired in because you don't feel good enough, then of course that would make you feel uneasy, nauseous, and afraid. There's a difference between acknowledging that you're suffering and understanding why you're suffering. Understanding yourself, how you feel, and why you feel that way is really going to make or break your manifestation process. Because the thing about it is that some people approach manifestation like they're getting one thing. I want to manifest this one job. And hey, that's one way to fucking do it. Live your best life. That's not how I do things. I approach manifestation as the manifestation of a lifestyle. I am changing everything. I'm changing how I am. I'm changing what I expect for myself, from others, from the world, from the universe. I'm changing how I allow myself to be supported. It's a whole lifestyle thing, right? And when you approach manifestation from the process of just trying to get one thing and not focusing on all the shit going on underneath, because who gives a fuck about all of that stuff? I'm just trying to get this one new thing. this is what happens. You can manifest a new car, but if you don't feel good enough or worthy of that new car, and you don't know how to identify those feelings or unhelpful beliefs, if you don't know how to shift the resistance that comes up when you get the new car or the new job, then you will self-sabotage and you will lose that car. All right, let's move on. Fact number 3. Your resistant thoughts don't mean anything. Oh my God, this is like my favorite one, okay? Your resistant thoughts don't mean that you are good enough. Listen to me. Understanding this would have saved me a lot of time. For years, I fought with my resistance. I grew afraid of experiencing resistance because I thought that my resistant thoughts were a sign that I couldn't get what I wanted. I thought whenever I experienced a resistant thought, I was doing something wrong, and I felt like I was never going to get what I wanted because the resistant thoughts just kept coming. And I think one of the reasons why we've chosen to focus on resistance in today's video is because we really started off talking about that in that fact number 1. God is on your side. You're flowing towards your desires. Resistance is when you are pushing away from it. Resistance is when you are trying to get that boat to go upstream. You're moving in the opposite direction of what you want. And that's an understanding that's super duper prevalent throughout law of attraction, especially when you're listening to Abraham Hicks. So when you're hearing these things and you have that wound that says you aren't good enough, the mixture of somebody telling you don't think resistant thoughts and you feeling like you're not good enough, whenever a resistant thought comes into your mind, it's going to trigger that feeling of you not being good enough. And it's going to trigger all those stories that tell you that you're failing, that it's not working, that you can't get it. And that's not true. So that's what we're shifting right here and right now. Your resistant thoughts don't mean anything about you. They don't mean that you're failing. They don't mean that you can't get what you want. They don't mean that your mindset work isn't working. They don't mean that your desires are far away. They don't mean anything. They're just thoughts. And thoughts can be shifted. Your current reality is just reflecting back your dominant vibration to you. And dominant vibrations can be shifted. It can all be shifted. It can all be changed. Your suffering isn't permanent. You can give yourself room to breathe, and then you remember that God is on your side. You're not the only one wanting your growth and expansion. Isn't this so fucking good? Okay, let's move on. Fact number 4. You don't have to resist your resistance. And this is kind of expanding a little bit further what we talked about in fact number 3. You're not battling with your resistant thoughts. You don't have to. Because really, your resistant thoughts are just neural pathways that have been firing in your brain. That's really it. You boil it down, it's just a neural pathway. So shifting your resistant thoughts is just about firing new neural pathways, also known as thinking new thoughts, and we'll get further into that in a minute. The greatest thing that I could share with you, well, one of the greatest things that I could ever share with you is this. Your resistant thoughts are not the thing that stop you from getting what you want. It is how you respond to your resistant thoughts that either support you or doesn't support you. Either supports you or doesn't support you. You know what I'm saying? So let's give an example. When you think, I can't get a man because I'm too career oriented and men want submissive bimbos to marry. That's a resistant thought. It's a thought telling you that you can't have what you desire. But the fact that you thought it isn't the problem. Feeling like you can't get the man that you want isn't the problem. Thinking that you can't get the clients that you want isn't the problem. Thinking that you can't get the customers that you want isn't the problem. Thinking you can't get the job or the apartment or the car or the lifestyle or the friendships or the travel or the luxury that you want isn't the problem. How you respond is either the problem or the solution. You know what I'm saying? When you respond to those thoughts by doing nothing, when you agree with that thought, then you continue to stay in that unwanted reality where the men you want don't want you, the clients you desire aren't available for you, the customers aren't showing up in your job, the car that you want is too expensive, yada, yada, yada. But when you shift that thought, when you shift those thoughts, then you become open to getting the man, the car, the apartment, the lifestyle, etc., that you desire. It's not about the resistant thought. It's about how you respond to the resistant thought. And lastly, let's move on to number 5. Your resistant thoughts are trying to be helpful. This is another reason why you don't want to villainize or push against or resist your resistant thoughts. First of all, what you resist persists. Second of all, your resistant thoughts think that they are helping. So this is a little bit of parts work. Let's jump into an example. When you were a kid, you tried to get emotional closeness, intimacy with your parents. You wanted them to soothe you and take care of you, but they yelled at you for crying instead. Now, there's a part of you that feels unsafe seeking emotional support from others. You might feel like you are the only one who can take care of you. You might have trouble relying on others. You might attract people who are unreliable, so they affirm that story that you can't rely on others, right? And at the same time, you want to be in a loving, committed relationship, partnership, friendship. That means you want a partner, you want people who you can rely on. Resistance is that old part of you that doesn't feel like they can trust people. They are trying to help you and protect you from emotional pain and suffering, but really, it's just repelling emotionally open and available partners. This is the mindset thing. That part of you is simply misinformed. You don't have to resist that part of you. You don't have to push that part of you away. You don't push that thought away. They're just misinformed. Your mindset practice, however you choose to shift those unhelpful thoughts or ways of being, is a process where you're informing yourself of how life gets to be for you. You can think of your resistance as part of you that experienced a miscommunication. Oh, you heard that people aren't reliable and that they can't take care of you? Oh my goodness, that is so unhelpful and untrue. The truth is that people love to support you, that you can depend on the people that you love, and that you are a magnet for reliable, trustworthy people. Your resistance is trying to help you. Those parts of you are doing what they're doing because they think that it's supporting you, but it's not. Your job is to communicate to those parts of you, oops, our wires got crossed somewhere. This thing that you think is helpful actually isn't. And we can do something different instead. Okay, so those are our 5 facts. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear which fact supported you the most down in the comments below. And if you loved this video and are looking for more support from me and are wondering what you should do next, I would highly recommend grabbing my 6 Steps from Stuck to Self-Aware bundle. In this free bundle, you'll get a digital journal that includes my signature 6-step process for identifying any limiting belief. This will powerfully help you work with your resistance. You'll also get a meditation for feeling your feelings. That will especially help you with fact number 2. The more you use the meditation, the better relationship you will develop with your feelings. That will make it easier to identify and work with your resistance. This is also super helpful if your feelings overwhelm you from time to time. And lastly, you'll get a prayer to shift your energy. This prayer will help you open up to working with your resistance so that your thoughts can become a cooperative component of your manifestation process. It's a great prayer. You can claim your free bundle using the link in the description. And if you're wanting to dive deeper, if you're ready to learn how I shift my resistant thoughts and you're ready to tap into the vibration of your desires like never before, I'd highly recommend checking out my How to Receive Self-Love miniature course. Inside, you'll get training, journal prompts, and exercises to help you develop the belief that it is good and okay for you to receive what you desire. Inside of my courses is where we go super duper deep and you start doing that introspective work to really understand why you feel bad receiving, why you feel guilty taking from other people, why you feel bad asking for a raise, why you feel bad, communicating to your partner that you need them to respond to you by the end of each day, or you need them to let you know that they're not going to be available to chat so that you can feel safe and secure, right? All of those issues that you have asking for more money, asking for more love, asking for more support, it's all this wound of not feeling worthy. It's all under this umbrella of not understanding how to receive, or how to receive in a way that feels good for you, right? So many of us feel guilty and afraid of getting what we actually want. This course helps you shift that so that you can receive freely. You can learn more and enroll now, getting instant access to all of the information available using the link in the description. I love you so much. Thank you for spending your time with me today, and I'll talk to you in the next one.